What's going on, guys? I've decided that I'm gonna use my YouTube as a host for my podcast. Um, I didn't think of a name of it yet, but this is episode 1. And I appreciate you guys for listening or tuning in or giving it a listen. I don't want to make it too long, maybe long enough to not be like a YouTube short or whatever. But basically, I'm just talking about life, basically. My own life in general, whatever comes to mind. Freestyle shit. Um, right now I'm smoking a cigar. It's Friday, November 7th. Got a cigar, I got some wine. And I just want to say, I only drink wine exclusively because wine is better than everything else. It's not as hard as hard liquor, 40, 50, 60 and above percent. It tastes better than hard liquor. And hard liquor, I've been down that road. Jack Daniels, all that shit, fuck that. I can't even think about it without having like a physical response because I had so much like bad experience. Not a bad experience, but just one bad experience with it that just turned me off to it. Not all hard liquor, occasionally maybe, but very rare. And beer's fucking trash. Beer's the worst thing ever invented. Carbonation, disgusting. It's just disgusting. Like, you know what I mean? And it takes you a lot to get where you want to go when it comes to drinking. If you want to drink, you want to get to where you want to be as far as feeling good, beer is not. Beer is trash. But wine, a good 9, 10, 11, 12, 13%. That's like the sweet spot for, get where you want to go. That good feeling, you know what I'm saying? And yeah. So I'm on my pirate shit when I talk about wine. I'm not on no other shit. Because, there's like some type of association with wine and people try to say some shit. It's not like that. It's just, I just fuck with wine more than anything else. Through trial and error. Being young and dumb and not knowing, no one telling me about, what to do, what not to do. So I had to experience and try everything, basically. Experimental wise with drugs and, honestly, the reason why I even got into drinking was heartbreak. And once I finally got out of the heartbreak, which took a long time, I was already like muddled in the fucking mix of not wine, alcohol. Just, it doesn't matter what it was. It was anything, mostly at that time, hard shit, liquor. So around that time, the habit of drinking had been developed, so I was already cooked. So once the heartbreak wore off and I got over it and I started feeling better, the habit was already well developed. So I just had this habit of just drinking for no fucking reason, no occasion, no special event, just fucking because it was a habit at this point. And boy, what a time. Fucking horrible time. But you gotta be young and dumb in order to fucking learn. You gotta just go. You just gotta go sometimes. And luckily, I came out on the other side on a positive note versus the alternative. Letting the alcohol consume me and never taking a break from it. Honestly, COVID in that aspect was a blessing. Well, it was other things. I had to get surgery that year. I had to get surgery at the very beginning of COVID. I had to get surgery at the very beginning of COVID, and they said that I couldn't drink. I can't do nothing. Otherwise, it would make the surgery very complicated for my body to like survive it. You know what I mean? So, for the first time in a long time, around that time, triple time, I got sober, and the sobriety just completely changed my fucking mindset and everything. It changed everything, and I didn't even know how bad it was because I was just so into the mix and just used to it. Like at the time, me and my roommate, we would just go get from the local store right up the street a bottle of rum and kill it in one night. Like, you know what I mean? So like it was bad. And it was funny because once I started getting sober, but my roommate and his girl were getting like on that same wavelength of like just getting fucked up, it just and hearing how they like operated and communicated and all this shit, it was insane. And I knew it was insane, and I knew I had like I was sober, but I still was chilling with them, and they weren't sober, and it was during COVID, so nobody could go nowhere, do nothing, and so we would binge watch television, and we went back to our childhood, high school days type shit, and we went and watched Jersey Shore from season 1. And these motherfuckers would watch the show long enough. I watched it with them, but I had no girls. I was just chilling. And these motherfuckers would literally tune the fuck in so much that they would literally act like the characters unintentionally, like subconsciously programmed into acting like a drunken idiot. Like they would argue at the top of their lungs about the dumbest shit, even when like debating on who's right or who's wrong between Ronnie and Sammy. I don't know if you know Jersey Shore, but if you do, Ronnie and Sammy were a toxic couple, and they would debate on who is right in the situation from the female's perspective or the guy's perspective, and they would argue, get lit off of rum, and argue about whatever the hell was talking about on the show, and they would go full throttle, like they would go crazy. And I just, after a couple of episodes, that took over, the course of a couple weeks, I just eventually just stayed in my room altogether, and they saw me less and less as surgery got closer and closer, because they were unbearable, like, and especially her. Well, both of them actually. Like I could hear so clearly being sober, because everything's hazy when you're not sober. So you're missing things. You're not paying attention to everything as sharply as you could. And listening to my homeboy talk to his girl, he was such a manipulator and a gaslighter, and it was crazy to hear. He sounded like the devil to me. Like he just kept, like, his drunk self would just be unbearable. Like, but also, to be fair, he was reacting to her. And when she was cool, they were both cool. But when they got drunk, obviously, story of anybody who drinks too much, you're a different person when you drink. Especially with consistency. Especially with nothing to do. Oh, and they also got cocaine. They got cocaine and rum on a regular basis. So, but when she got drunk, Oh my God. She was the most annoying person on earth. She would just say the dumbest things you could even imagine someone saying. And he responded. But he's also the type of person to absorb the verbal abuse up to a certain point. Even when he's sober, he'll take the abuse. He'll take, not like it was abusive, but he'll take the little disses, the little jabs. He'll absorb it, laugh it off, brush it off, and then bring it back up later while he's fucked up and drunk and feeling the rage. Especially if she, went off on him while she was drunk and just saying nonsense and bringing up old shit or whatever. These motherfuckers just completely turned me off to just everything. And I was so glad that I was sober and seeing the clarity and whatever. And so yeah, that's my story. There's a lot more details, but we'll save that for another episode, I guess. But just because that's something to talk about, and I think that it's interesting enough to talk about. I won't get into details like names and shit, but what actually happened is a good story. Actually, it's a bad story, but it's a good, entertaining for, maybe you'll listen a little bit longer, a little bit another time, But crazy time. But I'm so glad that I reached that point that brought me into where I am now. Because, I did, get the surgery. And once I was able to, once I was good again, I did dive back into alcohol drinking because there was still COVID, nothing to do. But I did find a homegirl who I could like go to her house and just get away from that toxic ass environment. Because obviously, eventually they did take it personal that I was basically being reclusive and just staying in my own room and being away from them because they were unbearable. But eventually they did take it personal that I was not being a friend, basically. I mean, I was, but I would be way less around. But that was 2020. But now, I've been on a journey, man. I've been on a journey. I've been celibate since 2022. And honestly, that's been the best decision of my fucking life. For many reasons. The number one reason that I always tell people if they ever ask, but they don't, but I just volunteer the information anyway. The best thing about semen retention is, for me, the first thing I noticed is that my anxiety completely faded. My social anxiety, any ounce of anxiety in any situation faded for the first time ever. After a lifetime of anxiety. Something that you would never think would ever be possible because you just normalize it because it's just a part of something you feel on a regular basis every day for your whole life. And then it stops. It stops. Oh, fuck. I just forgot that. Anyways. It stops. And you become a completely new person who has to operate through life without anxiety. So you, over time, naturally and organically feel confident and confidence that you never felt before. You can see the most beautiful girl in the world and have a regular conversation with her without feeling like, without, sexualizing her or like, you know what I mean? You're not sexualizing her. You're not viewing her as a sexual object. You're just viewing her as a person, and you can talk to her like a regular person instead of having like this anxiety of where you can't talk fluidly because you are nervous because she's so pretty and you want to have sex with her. And you're hoping that there could be like a situation where, that route eventually happens. And that's where the anxiety probably came from back in the old me. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's how I try to recommend it, but it's not a recommendable thing because everybody's not really accustomed to trying to get to that point because they don't even know how it will feel. They can't even imagine not masturbating, or they can't imagine not getting girls. They can't imagine not busting off. They can't imagine it. They can't even fathom not doing it because it's just like what I said earlier about drinking. The habit has been developed for so long that cutting it off is like impossible, basically. You have to be very strong-minded and very strong-willed to even get to that point. And not saying that I was, but I just wanted to try it. I wanted something different. I mean, I am now, but I wanted a change because I felt stagnant. I felt stuck. I wasn't happy with life. And the transformation that just simply not busting a nut, the shit that does to you, just simply not doing that, and the big transformation that happens because of it is insane. And I try to tell people about it, but they don't fucking listen, bro. And it's not that they don't listen. They listen, they just don't have that type of self-control to not do it. Because like I said, it's already a habitual touch myself thing. Touch myself or seek out. They don't have like the capacity to just be with themselves and just chill and think and breathe. They don't meditate. I bet you don't even meditate. Like I learned that I was drinking because I was sad. Like drinking because I was sad and overly drinking because I was sad. But I noticed holding in my sexual energy and not wasting it, I got happier over time. Hence the anxiety. Well, I got happier once the anxiety faded away. But I also got happier just from, I don't know, it's just, I guess, just the cultivation of sexual energy. That energy is so important even if you're not doing shit. If you're not doing shit and you still aren't busting nuts every fucking 5 seconds every single day, you just feel happier. And I noticed without really trying, I just stopped drinking as much. It's more like because before it felt like I needed to drink because I wanted that couple of hours of happiness, get lit, blah blah blah, this and that. But now it's like I could drink right now. I could. It's been a while. I could drink. It's like one of those things, like picking your favorite restaurant, right? It's like I could eat that. I'm gonna have a taste for that. I haven't had it in a while, and you know that you're not gonna overeat. You're not gonna overindulge because you're gonna enjoy it. I wasn't enjoying it. I was drinking just to drink, just to feel different, because I wasn't happy with feeling how I was feeling. But with a couple of months of retention, I just felt happier. And then if I decided to drink, it would be like a couple of months have gone by and I haven't even thought about it. Whereas before, it was like such a mental clutch that seeing it. I work in a grocery store. Seeing people shop and pick up alcohol, my brain would trigger something, and I'll be like, I'm gonna get something when I get out of here. When I'm clock out, I'm gonna buy some shit. Like that's how it used to feel, like a addiction, I guess. But now it don't feel like that. It's like selective. I'm in control of it versus it controlling me type shit. Yeah. Well, that was episode 1 of, I don't know what this podcast is called yet, but I don't want it to be too long. That's why I'm cutting it short right now. But I appreciate y'all for listening. I hope that maybe if you're listening, you might have, something on it clicked, or like some type of like, you know what? I might, try that or something, like, you know what I mean? Just something, to be a better person type shit. So I appreciate y'all. I love you. Peace.